Gotta make sure I don't have any Malabar spinach in my teeth. Alright, good. I think I'm set for YouTube. I came down the hill the other day in between endless rain and discovered that the yams that I planted about 6 months ago when we first got here and dug these beds have ripened up and the yam vines have died back. This is something that true yams do. They have a dormant period and a growth period, and the dormant period has been kicking in because it's winter now, and so the vines have yellowed and browned and they've been dying back to the ground. And I decided, hey, I'm down here already, let me do a little digging. So I did a little digging, and a little digging turned into a lot more digging, and dug deeper and deeper and deeper into the clay, and I found that I had some really good yam roots. They grow a lot faster here than they did in Florida. So I thought, you know what, I shouldn't have all the fun by myself. I thought I'd better take you guys along and show you these yam roots. See, these pits right here are where I already did some digging. And I realized, man, those roots go deep into the clay, and it's actually quite a bit of work. This is the head of the yam here, which I uncovered so I would find them again in case the rain was taking me away. There's another head somewhere in here, I think. Maybe, I don't know. The reason I actually came and checked on the yams to begin with is I was going down the hill through the pigeon peas, which are over here. And there were cows in the pigeon peas that had gotten off their tethers, one of the neighbor's cows, and they were knocking over the pigeon peas. So I chased them, and then they decided to run here through my yams and my yucca. And I found them stomping through my yam beds, and I thought, you know what? These yams look ready. I think I'm going to harvest them before they get destroyed or lost or something by wandering cows. Oh, there we go. So we are going to dig these guys up, and you might be surprised by how much yam is in the ground, or we may be sadly disappointed by how little yam is in the ground. I might have dug the biggest ones already. Only the shovel can tell. So let's do it. The trick to this is to not destroy the yam when you're digging it. They actually are somewhat tender and will break off inside the ground if you're not careful. And when they break off inside this thick clay, you'll lose a piece of yam way down there in the ground sometimes, and you'll end up digging and digging and digging for it with very little to grab onto. So what I want to do is kind of go around it, see where the edges of the root extend, and then pull up what we have. As you can see, these old vines, they're almost totally dead. This was on this stake here before the cows knocked the stake over. But hey, let's see. Okay, this one's loosening up a little bit. I always am afraid I'm not all the way underneath it. Man, I'm a Florida boy. I'm not used to clay. Oh, I can hear it breaking. That's not good. Let's see what we have. These were just little pieces I found in the woods. Little bulbils that I dug up. Come on. Oh, it broke. There's part of it. Oh no. Now I made some work for myself. Let's find that other piece. Okay. Not too bad. There's one half of it. That was the piece that was left still in the ground. And there is the other half of it. That's a pretty good root, considering all I did was take some pieces of bulbils, stick them in the ground, stick a branch or two that I pruned off of the guava trees and use it to prop the vines up, and then just kept looping the vines over it when I came by and thought about it. Some of the vines just escaped and ran down the hill. Doesn't matter though. They like to make yams. That's a serious survival crop there. Now let's dig this puppy up. Again, I don't want to get too close right off the bat and smash or break the root inside the ground. So I'm just going to go easy. I've noted that the bottoms of the roots often seem to turn downhill as they grow on the other ones that I've dug, which is sort of interesting. Seem to be somewhat directional. So I'm guessing that on this side of it over here is where we're going to find more root. I don't know. I don't think this is as big as the other one. Yep, it's definitely turning that way though. There are so many yams here. These yams grow wild in the woods, all over the place. But often in the woods, they don't make very good roots because they're in a lot of shade. They'll live, but they spend a lot of their time climbing up into the trees trying to get sunlight, and then the end of the season comes and you don't really have a very big root underneath. These I started out in full sun, and so they've had the benefit of time and sunshine. Oh, I see that I've broken a piece. Oh boy, there's a piece down in there. I don't know where it's going. It's being weird. There's my stake, originally, before the cow broke it. Okay, come on. There you go. That's enough to eat. That's the piece that I nicked off there. Just a little nick, probably the edge of the shovel. Somebody recently asked me if yams make bulbils in their first year. Bulbils are the aerial roots. Now, not all yams do this, but many of them do. These do. These are a Dioscorea alata variety. This one made some little bulbils. If you leave these in the ground, leave the big root in the ground, let it come back again the second year, you'll get a lot more bulbils. These can be planted and they will make you new yams the next year. They'll turn into big roots. The way the yam propagates is the vine dies back, it might be up in the trees, it's got bulbils on it. Those bulbils might be 50 feet from the base of the yam after the first, second, third year goes by, and they'll drop to the ground when the vines die back, and where they hit the ground, if they've got a nice spot, they turn around and they make themselves into a new yam plant. So I can take these bulbils and plant them and they'll grow into yams, but these are very tiny. They'll get this big or bigger in the second year, and maybe if these yams had been fertilized a lot more, we might have got larger bulbils, but maybe not. Usually the first year you get a few and they're smaller. These are quite small. And then as subsequent years go by, you can get a ton of bulbils. Let's figure out where the base of this one is. Somewhere in here. Right there. This feels like a small one. Can be deceiving. Oh, it broke off. That's a long, skinny one. It's really hardly worth digging. This may have been from a smaller bulbil. The bigger ones seem to do better, which makes sense because they've got a lot more energy stored up in them. And then I've got the rest. There we go. It's starting to fatten up at the bottom, but this would be what I would call a second year yam, not a first year. A couple of chunks for the soup. I suppose a nice thing about the cows out here is that they fertilize the area for me. Got a couple more yams right here I'm gonna dig. This yam here seems to have disappeared, so less digging for me. like to find where the head of the yam is before I do any serious digging. Again, because I don't want to bust them up. All right, we're gonna dig that sucker. Oh, and I broke it. Oh, and it gets bigger. I'm smashing it. I'm smashing it and it gets bigger. Oh boy. Come on, no, don't smack apart. No! More bits. I wish I had a cameraman today, or camera woman as the case may be, but she's doing her daily workout and I'm doing mine. Nah, it doesn't get much bigger. Just have gooey chunks. See that? Gooey chunks. Yeah. Well, there's a week's worth of yams probably, and I already got 2 times as much back up at the house from the other day. All right, I just brought these up the hill. This gigantic one here was one more I found that I had planted by itself, and it was in full sun. So that is a heck of a root. Now we're gonna wash them all off, and then they're ready to go. Not bad, huh? These guys are pretty big. That's a lot of root. If you're not growing yams already, and if you're in climates, say USDA zone 8 or warmer, you should really give some of these a try. You can get name roots, which is a variety of yam, at your ethnic market often. Sometimes Publix supermarket sells them if you live in the South. And get them and cut them up. I've got an article on my website, I can link to it, on how to propagate yams from the roots, because you're not going to be able to find bulbils in a store. Once you get them going from the roots, if they're the variety that makes bulbils, the next year you'll have a lot more little bulbils that you can plant. These taste a lot like Irish potatoes, but I actually think their texture is a little better. They make a really nice creamy soup, particularly with some smoked bacon in it, and man, this is a great root. So thanks for joining me. Be sure to like and subscribe and catch me on the web at thesurvivalgardener.com. And while you're there, look up yams. I've got tons on yams. Real yams, not sweet potatoes. Until next time, may your thumbs always be green.
I went to see David the Good. We listened to Portishead and drank spiced rum.
Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. A triple yam. A triple yam.